Alright, welcome to the first video of the day. We're just going to cover some of the protesting that happened last night. There was a bunch of cars doing donuts in Seattle, and a bunch of people got hurt. A lot of people got hit. A bunch of cars got damaged. There's a bunch of videos on Twitter, so I would suggest trying to go search for them because I can't really show them on YouTube. Otherwise, this video would just get banned. But up first, we got a March for Our Lives protest. McConnell's Supreme Court stands with giant mural outside his home. McConnell's Senate is gearing up for a Supreme Court nomination fight. A gun control group on Saturday protested Senator Majority Leader Mitch McConnell's support for the Supreme Court nomination of Amy Coney Barrett with a mural declaring "We call BS" outside his Washington, D.C. home. "Hey Mitch, we call BS, let the people decide," the mural reads. At least they're being peaceful. They're not destroying anything, so there's not really too much to talk about. That's pretty much it. It looks like it's chalk. So, I mean, they say paint, but it literally just looks like it's chalk. I'm sure it'll just wash off pretty easily. March for Our Lives was founded by gun violence survivors in 2018 after the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School mass shooting in Parkland, Florida that left 17 dead. McConnell has faced criticism for supporting President Trump's decision to nominate a replacement for the late Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg after blocking President Barack Obama's nomination of Judge Merrick Garland in 2016. Republicans have pointed out that the Senate and White House were held by opposite parties in 2016, unlike in 2020. Which is true. I mean, this has happened 29 times before an election, and only 10 of those is when both of them have been aligned, when the White House and the Senate have been aligned. 9 of those actually got through. But yeah, I mean, this happens a lot. I mean, this is probably just one of the most expedient ones. So, yeah, I mean, at least they're being peaceful, so at least I'll give them that. Louisville lawmaker back on protest line after rioting arrest. Police probe fiery blast outside church. Car was set on fire with fireworks inside, setting off small explosions, police said. The Kentucky Democratic lawmaker who sponsored a police reform bill named Brianna's Law was back on the protest line Friday, a day after being arrested on felony rioting charge in Louisville. Wonder if this person was there Saturday because they were causing a good amount of destruction on Saturday. Meanwhile, at least 28 people were arrested. Meanwhile, at least 28 people were arrested in Louisville late Saturday as a group of protesters exited First Unitarian Church before midnight and began to cause destruction, lighting fire to plywood in front of the building, the Louisville Metro Police Department said. In front of the Unitarian Church? Wow. The place that harbors them, they'll probably burn it down. They probably won't care afterwards. "Oh, thanks for harboring us, giving us some food, and now we're just going to destroy you. We'll probably just destroy you later. Don't worry." Police said many windows at Spalding University and Presentation Academy were smashed and graffiti was sprayed across several buildings. A car was also set on fire with fireworks inside, setting off small explosions. People inside the church were asked to remain there while the police secured the area. Before the curfew took effect Saturday, police said people were seen gathering plywood barriers and other items that could be used as weapons, and media reported protesters intended to stand off with police. Got from the LMPD, graffiti was sprayed across several buildings. A car in a Spalding parking lot was set on fire with fireworks inside of it, setting up small explosions. We know. Police responded and the fire department put the car fire out. Several arrests were made during this situation. Yeah, we know that people were asked to remain in the church area. 28 were arrested. This comes after Representative Attica Scott D. Louisville was arrested with a group of demonstrators outside First Unitarian Church just before 9 p.m. Curfew went into effect Thursday. Both she and her teenage daughter, wow, good for bringing your teenage daughter into this. You shouldn't be bringing children into this stuff, especially when you know that there's been rioting and destruction. Ashanti was charged with felony rioting, failure to disperse an unlawful assembly. They were released by Friday morning. I'm sure they won't be really charged because no one's getting charged. Police said Scott was part of a large group that caused extensive damage at multiple locations, including setting fire to the Louisville Public Library. But Scott, who is currently the only black woman serving in the Kentucky State Legislature, live-streamed the moments leading up to her arrest and denied she sought to damage the library. Doesn't mean someone didn't throw a flare in there, maybe trying to light fire to the library. Just because you didn't do it doesn't mean someone didn't try. Mayor Greg, she also said she was arrested at 8:58 p.m. Thursday, just 2 minutes before a 9 p.m. curfew went into effect. Mayor Greg Fisher said Wednesday the curfew did not apply to those heading to houses of worship, but Louisville Metro Interim Police Chief Robert Schroeder said Thursday that unlawful assembly can be declared at any time for safety even before the curfew begins. So, you're just getting charged with unlawful assembly, not breaking curfew. Which you're just like, it wasn't curfew yet. Well, you're in unlawful assembly. Sorry. Maybe do it lawfully. Like, you're a Louisville lawmaker, and you couldn't try to find a permit then? Okay, well. Probably because they won't give a permit to people who know that are going to destroy their community. We got from Breitbart, we got an alleged Black Lives Matter supporter drives through counter-protesters, arrested for attempted murder. We do know that the person was a Caravans for Justice, which is kind of part of Black Lives Matter. An alleged supporter of Black Lives Matter drove a car through a crowd of counter-protesters during a standoff in Yorba Linda, California on Saturday, and was arrested for assault with a deadly weapon and attempted murder. So from the video, you can clearly see that the Trump supporters they're not being violent to the cars or anything. I'm sure there was some altercation. They were probably yelling at each other, but they weren't like hitting the car or anything. They were kind of surrounding it, and then you see the lady get in, and then she just drives into them. Like they were probably like a good 3 or 4 feet away, just standing there nonchalantly, and she just runs straight into them and goes through. So it's like, okay, that's a little more unhinged than the other cases of when, cars have hit Black Lives Matter demonstrators, because these are more people that aren't paying attention to this stuff than Trump supporters actually going out and trying to hit people. Not saying she was really trying to go out and hit people, but there's speculation that, she was trying to go out and try to pick a fight, but it's all speculation. I'm not going to try to say if it is or not. At least at this point, maybe she comes out and says, yeah, I was straight up out there. Like, if I see it on video that I'm straight up out there, I was trying to go for that fight. And I'm like, okay, well, then I guess, okay. But yeah, I mean, you got a lot of people that go through these, protests and riots. They don't know that they're happening. A lot of them they're not supposed to be there. And so these people that aren't paying attention to the news that's going on, they're trying to come home, they go through this, and then all of a sudden Black Lives Matter just surrounds them, beating on the car, breaking stuff, trying to tear people out of their cars. Like, that's insane. And they instigate it. These cars and then just trying to flee for their lives because, well, they're being threatened with. What can I say? So we got a little bit more news, from Daily Mail. Shocking moment, BLM organizer plows her car into crowd of Trump supporters in California and injures 2 before she is arrested and charged with attempted murder. Black Lives Matter has been arrested after videos showed her driving a car into a crowd of Trump supporters in Southern California, injuring 2. Driver Tatiana Turner, 40 of Long Beach, was arrested and charged with attempted murder and assault with a deadly weapon following the incident on Saturday in the city of Yorba Linda, about 30 miles southeast of downtown LA. The chaos unfolded as about 250 people gathered, some with a group called Caravan for Justice supporting Black Lives Matter, and the others to stage a nearby counter-protest supporting President Donald Trump. Federal records show that Turner filed a trademark application for Caravan for Justice in July, and a GoFundMe campaign names her as the group's founder. Police confirmed that Turner is believed to be a member of the Caravan. Well, we just said that. It was around 3 p.m., police say, when a car in the parking lot of the Yorba Linda Public Library at 18181 Imperial Highway accelerated into the road and struck at least 2 individuals. Like I said, they were just kind of there nonchalantly. Maybe they were just arguing, and that's pretty much about it. But yeah, it didn't really get violent until that happened. And then the Trump supporters start bashing on it. See this one guy, I think he just punched it with his fist and just knocks out the back window. And then, she tries to get away. A few more Trump supporters come up. One of the flags, I think, gets, thrown right into the back of the car. And, and then she gets caught, about 100 feet later and arrested. And you can clearly see from the video that, a lot of those people were just nonchalantly there. They weren't doing anything. They weren't even speaking. They were just standing there, really. Apparently, the Trump supporters had walked up to him, but, if they're not causing violence and they just want to, and if there's discourse, then there's discourse. You can have discourse, just not violent one. It says, We'll read a little bit up. Sorry, there's just too many photos. It says, "Oh my God, a woman is heard screaming on video as the white Nissan Versa accelerates into the crowd, knocking the demonstrators to the pavement and speeding away. Furious crowd members chased the car, hitting it with flagpoles, but within seconds, police intervened, taking the female driver into custody. The two injured people, a man and a woman, were taken to a hospital with non-life-threatening injuries," said Carrie Braun, spokeswoman for the Orange County Sheriff's Department. One of them definitely broke 2 legs. So that sucks. The incident occurred as members of Black Lives Matter demonstrated against police brutality and systemic racism. Counter-protests crossed 6-lane Imperial Highway and confronted the BLM protesters, authorities said. The protesters also confronted each other in the parking lot of the Yorba Linda Public Library, Braun said. A white sedan went through the crowd in the parking lot or the exit of the parking lot at the public library, injuring 2 people, Braun said. People chased the car as it tried to drive away, and it was eventually stopped and surrounded by police, she said. The Register reported it was not known how fast the car was going. The back windshield had been broken out and had a flagpole sticking out of it. The front windshield was smashed, the Register reported. Some people were speculating that it was the flagpole that smashed it, but I saw, this guy punched it straight out. Braun said there were 300 people total, and at some point it was declared an unlawful assembly, and dispersal orders were given. On Thursday night, a BLM protester was struck by a pickup truck during a march in Hollywood and suffered non-threatening injuries. And that one wasn't even, there wasn't anyone that was in any of these political groups. There was just a random driver that got into it, and it's just all these people start surrounding him. We clearly saw that people were surrounding his truck before he hit the person. Says the driver was attempting to drive away from the situation when he struck the protester. The driver stopped several blocks away and cooperated with officers. He was released pending the outcome of the investigation. And we know from the video footage that these BLM protesters, rioters, they keep attacking random drivers. The investigation into Saturday's incident in Yorba Linda is ongoing. Turner is being held in the Orange County Jail, and it was unclear whether she had an attorney to speak on her behalf. I'm sure a GoFundMe will be made, and she'll end up making a lot of money to end up getting a lawyer anyways. Or a lawyer for Black Lives Matter will come out, I'm sure. They've got enough support at this point. So we got from USA Today, they decided to update one of their original stories from July 9th. Cars have hit Black Lives Matter demonstrators 104 times since George Floyd protests began. And, most of those are people deciding to just start attacking cars. It's Black Lives Matter supporters attacking cars first. It's not usually, the car just ramming into them just willy-nilly. Sometimes it is. I'm not going to say all of them because I think there was one instance I read. Still, you get one here, you get one there. You got Black Lives Matter 104 times trying to attack random drivers. So it's nobody's right really in that instance. Except for maybe, I guess the victim who kind of just randomly drove into the protesters, not wanting to be a part of it. Anyways, NYPD clashed with BLM protesters standing among diners in Manhattan as Seattle descends into chaos and Portland erupts on the 4th night of Breonna Taylor unrest across the U.S. So why is it that these BLM protesters and rioters keep attacking just random restaurant diners? Why do we keep getting stories of that? Are they just trying to destroy restaurants at this point? Wasn't the pandemic enough? Didn't the pandemic destroyed so many restaurants, and now these rioters are just trying to finish them off, I guess. That's disheartening. We got chaos and vicious clashes between police and BLM protesters erupted in New York City, Portland, Seattle, Los Angeles, and Louisville Saturday night. Days after it was announced that the officers who shot Breonna Taylor would not be charged in her death. In New York City, locals enjoying the outdoor dining got caught in scuffles between the NYPD and BLM protesters as officers charged towards demonstrators hiding among restaurant customers. Shocking video from the scene shows the outdoor seating area of the Cowgirl Eatery in Manhattan West Village suddenly inundated with officers who flung protesters to the ground and pushed crowds away. Probably because they didn't want to get get the restaurant involved because they've been going after diners, they've been going after these places and harassing people, so they probably already knew, and they were like, okay, as soon as they try to come into this area, we're going to get them. Across the country in Seattle and Portland, there were similar anarchic scenes as protesters blocked off intersections by setting dumpsters ablaze, officers fired pepper spray, and demonstrators were cuffed by police as nationwide protests continued for a 4th night. And yeah, and that's when random drivers get caught into this, and then they get surrounded, and then they get attacked, and like, all right, I'm just gonna get the hell out of here because I don't want to be attacked. The impassioned protest demanded justice, blah blah blah. We already know that. Like, I hate having to repeat myself 15 times in the same article. On Wednesday, Kentucky Attorney General Daniel Cameron indicted former Detective Brett Hankison on 3 first-degree. We already know this. I hate repeating myself 15 times. So we're going to see some of the pictures here because that's pretty much all I can show. I can't show you any of the videos. See them, you know, just arresting people. Look at them. Just, why are you even burning anything at all? Well, they're burning an American flag. You know, it's fine. You can do that. I'm not going to do it, but you can do it. It's your right to. Probably not doing it in a public setting is a good choice because I think that's illegal. So maybe just make a video of you doing that, you know, just at your house, but... Portland demonstrators and armed police face off during Saturday night's protest with BLM protest demanding justice, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's just going to keep telling me the same thing over and over again in each of these photos. So you see them there. People scared, I guess. People being arrested. And there's the car that was set on fire. The Big Apple chaos erupted after protesters had gathered on the sidewalk on the corner of West 10th and Hudson by the popular Cowgirl restaurant, started to mingle in between diners, sat outside enjoying their meals. The protesters had come from the 6th precinct after police had broken up a rally at nearby Washington Square Park. Protesters ignored one warning to disperse and were followed by cops on bicycles. Please be advised that pedestrians are not permitted to walk in the street or roadway. A message on an intercom played at the intersection. And then they probably going to start going after restaurant diners because if they can't fight the police, they'll fight random citizens. Because that's what they've been doing. It says hundreds sit on Brooklyn Bridge to protest Breonna Taylor ruling, which I'm fine with that. That's what you should be doing. You should be making a sit-in somewhere, and that's it. Try to block yourself off. Try to keep yourself safe, and just keep a sit-in, and then don't destroy anything. Like, how hard is that? I guess very. We got shocking moment. Middle-aged woman is slammed to the ground by police during a clash with anti-lockdown demonstrators in Trafalgar Square. So this is in London. Just wanted to bring this up because London ain't taking it anymore. They're done with these lockdowns. They are completely done. They had 15,000 protesting in Trafalgar Square. They're done. And then once the police knocked down a woman, yeah, I think Sadiq Khan's not going to be doing too well from here on out. I think London's going to be fighting back pretty hard at this point. So, and that's London there. I just wanted to mention that because it's just because Sadiq Khan is branded as a hypocrite for blasting unacceptable protest after he backed the BLM march. So there's like, the Black Lives Matter crap that's into there because they try to inject it into any article they can, even when it doesn't even pertain to it, considering this is anti-lockdown stuff. So I think they're just trying to say, Sadiq Khan is just a hypocrite, which, hey, he is. If he's going to back BLM marches, which are completely on the other side of the world, then why are you even, like, why aren't you even allowing this to happen? Is it just because it goes against you? Yeah. And that's authoritarian. And that's pretty much it that I'm going to cover for today on this stuff. If you want to find out more about the donuts and everything that were happening in Seattle, you can go to Tim Pool's video. I know he covers that a lot. That's where I just didn't want to cover too much about that because it's just kind of, lawlessness at that point, what they're doing, which is just a unfortunate effect. Just an unfortunate effect of what's happening with all the riots and the protesting. You're going to get lawlessness eventually. So you guys have a good one. I'll see you later.